Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence, and today I thought I would talk a little bit around film versus music versus books and what kind of method you want to use to create your art and to express yourself. So, there's many different forms of entertainment out there. You've got books, you've got television, you've got film, you've got music, you've got theatre. You could just write the plays and not even expect them to be performed. You could carve out little drawings on the side of caves. There's all kinds of things that you can do to express yourself in various ways that can be preserved for either a short amount of time, like for other people to see in the case of theatre, or for forever in the case of a recorded piece of media, like a recorded song or even a recorded performance of a theatre production. So I specialise in film. I started off in film, but I slowly gravitated towards doing music. And there was a few reasons for that. One was that film is a very collaborative kind of thing, and I'm not a particularly big people person. I'm not someone who goes out and talks to a lot of people. I can be quite insular if I want to be. And that's part of what Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence is about addressing, is that it's lessons in confidence for myself. Hence why I kind of do these videos as well, because it encourages me to be more confident and to be more forthright with my worldview and the way that I see things. And I started doing music instead because it was something I could do entirely on my own, entirely from the comfort of my own home, and something that you could do quickly. Like with a film, if you want to really put together a proper film, with proper actors and a proper script and get everything prepared beforehand, and you have all this extra paperwork and stuff that you got to do. It's all things that really bog you down and start to drag you away from the art. And then you're on the set directing, and it feels like you're starting to get away from the art. And editing video to me can sometimes, after a while, just become a technical, mechanical process, more like engineering than like a form of creativity. And I wanted to move away from that kind of thing. And that's why, for one, I've started doing Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence in a much different way from all my previous films. But second off, I thought it would be really interesting to combine both my love of music and my love of film with this project. But as to why I started doing music, I could do it from the comfort of my own home, and I could do it quickly. So I could come up with the idea for a song. I could think, I want a song that goes dun 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 wow, and then I could figure out how to play that on the guitar, figure out a way to make that sound interesting on a bass, decide if I want some keyboards on it, and then bam, I've recorded it, and it's taken not much longer than the song actually is. Like if I want to make a 5-minute song, it'll probably take me about minimum an hour, maximum maybe 3 hours. I like my longer songs. A lot of my songs are 7+ minutes. Some of them gravitate closer to the 20-minute mark. And that's because that's sort of who I am. All my favorite songs are long. My ultimate favorite song, that I think will be my ultimate favorite song for the rest of my life, possibly, I'm not sure yet, is Echoes by Pink Floyd. And another ones I like are Anesthetize by Porcupine Tree, In the Name of God by Dream Theater, Homesick Parts 1 through 3 by Airbag, Again by Archive. These are all very long songs. Dogs, all their animals really. These are all very long suites of music, and they take you on a journey in a very interesting way, and a new way for each of them. All of those songs are quite distinct from each other, even though they all kind of fall under the same umbrella of progressive rock in some form or another. But they all manage to do such different things with their combinations of guitars and keyboards and drums and bass. And I like to do my own experiments in that same field. I did a song, for instance, a few months ago called Kalashnikov, which is this 17-minute combination of krautrock, my love of krautrock, and then my love of progressive rock. So I kind of combined those two fields. And I'm doing stuff that I know is not, commercial. I'm not doing any of this stuff for views, and I know that no one's going to listen to a 16-minute song from a nobody. But I enjoy that kind of music, so I'm making the music that feels right to me, and I'm not trying to chase anything else other than that. And I don't want to commercialize my music because and turn my music into a career, because to me the music is such a fun hobby of mine, and I don't want it to be anything more than that. I actively would rather it be a hobby than to I think my dream job is to be someone who records live gigs. You know, like you go to a live gig, say you go to see the Oasis reunion next year, and you know how they'll have the little screens, if you're so far away you can't actually see them, so they'll put them up on these giant screens. I'd like to be one of the people recording the videos for those screens. That looks like a lot of fun to me. Just to get paid to go and do what I love, which is filming. I love filming. Like, this is why I've set the camera up like this. I've got the camera so far away from me. And this took so many goes of me going up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. It took me about 20 minutes to set this shot up, sort of shifting. Should I do it a bit over here? Should I do it a bit over here? Is it in focus? Is the top of my head in? I'm really, like, I can't bend up too much like that. You see how it kind of cuts the top of my head off, so I'm kind of leaning a little bit like that. I'm doing this quite a long lens, so it's given kind of a fun feel. I like doing that, and it's a passion of mine, and it's a passion that I wouldn't mind commercializing. But for me, music is something that's very dear to me, and something that's very truly part of my soul. I never was super into music as a kid. I was raised on Metallica's like self-titled Master Puppets, and I think that's about it. And then I liked video game soundtracks, and then as I became a teenager, I liked a little bit of Eminem, not much. Got into Nightcore. Remember when Nightcore was a thing? It's basically just like the the slowed and reverbed thing. It's basically the opposite of that. So I kind of enjoyed that kind of music. I wasn't, an aficionado of music or anything. I think I started really getting into music when I went out with my first girlfriend, and she was very into her music. She showed me a lot of different styles of music, none of which have really stuck with me, like, because we had quite different tastes in music. She was very into like post-punk, and I'm not super into post-punk. But it helped me to find a love of bands and a love of live music in particular, and live music is something that's really stuck with me. And it's really kind of embarrassing to actually admit this, but the reason I started learning to play the guitar was because her ex-boyfriend played the guitar, and I was like, oh God, that means he's better than me. I'm going to learn the guitar and I'll be better than him. So I started learning the guitar, and for the first 4 years I was god awful, but I just kept going away at it. And after a couple of months, I wasn't even doing it to try and be better than that ex-boyfriend. I was just doing it because I really enjoyed it. And now I look at myself playing the guitar and I think, like, God, imagine if I couldn't play this thing, how much more empty my life would be. And I really do think that if you're in the creative field, if you're someone who is truly creative through and through, and you've spent all your life making stuff and you want to make stuff until you die, pick up an instrument, because it really does add something to you, not necessarily to like your personality or anything. It doesn't make you like a more interesting person just because you can play a fucking guitar or a keyboard or whatever. But it will help you express yourself in new ways. And even if you just sit around and you just noodle on the guitar, you can make some really fun stuff, and you can just enjoy it, and it can be something that's for you. And I really think that you should pursue music, not necessarily as a full-time thing, but if you're into film, you should also give music a try, because there's a fair few transferable skills from film to music and from music to film. Like microphone placement, for instance, is something that's quite important with recording music. Arrangement is and composition is fairly similar to editing, and you can, if you wanted to make, for instance, kind of electronic kind of sample-based music, you would basically just be editing with audio and doing the kind of sound design that you might already do when you edit your videos and your films at the moment. As well, it also encourages you to find new types of music, because you'll always be looking for a new inspiration and a new thing that gives you kind of a true sensation that goes through your body and makes the hairs on your arm sort of go up like that. I've started listening to so much more music since I started composing music. And what's also really fun is being able to listen to your own music back when you've recorded it and you've you've listened to it back, and you can just sit back with the headphones on. You can just go, oh wow, and in the back of your mind, you're just like, fucking hell, I made that. I made that bit of music. If it weren't for me, if I weren't born, this wouldn't exist. And that's something that's really fun as well. Yeah, I would really recommend you try music. Just pick up a guitar, or if you don't have a guitar laying around, just you can buy them pretty cheap. You can get them at Cash Converters or CEX. I don't think you can get them at CEX. Get them at whatever your shop is, because you probably don't live in the UK. Is Target like Cash Converters? I'm not sure. No, I think Target is more like Argos, isn't it? Walmart will probably have something. You've got thrift stores instead of charity shops. So go to your local thrift store and try and find a guitar for like 10, 20 bucks, something like that. And you'll find something fun. Or it doesn't have to be guitar. You might not feel drawn to the guitar. You might feel drawn to, the bass. Or even if you can't get an instrument, say you've got no money whatsoever. Say you've just got your phone. You can get GarageBand, or there's probably an Android equivalent of GarageBand, and you can just compose stuff with MIDI and just have fun coming out with little tunes, like maybe you're not into live sound sort of stuff like I am. Maybe you're more into your chip tune sort of stuff. I know a lot of people are really into that kind of sound, like the NES kind of, or SNES, or like Sega sort of Mega Drive kind of sound. People like that kind of thing. I think it's all right. It's cool. It's a fun way of composing. I've not really done much of it, but it's certainly an accessible way of doing it. You don't need an instrument or anything. You could just do it with GarageBand or whatever the equivalent is. If you've got a laptop, you can get there's a mosquito. You can get a Reaper for free. It just makes you wait for 5 seconds. So just do that. It's kind of like WinRAR. You know how like it's meant to be a free trial, but you kind of just keep it. It's like that. And then you can get all sorts of free VSTs, and they're just things you download. There'll be there's a long rabbit hole that you can go down. I'll try and spare you the rabbit hole. Download Reaper, then figure out the piano roll, and get a couple instruments. Get maybe like an organ or piano or a bass guitar. I'm trying to remember what the name of this mosquito's annoying me. I'm trying to remember what the name of this thing is. IK Multimedia is the name of the place that makes it, and they've got one called Modo Drums. That's the one I first used. That's free in a sort of castrated version, and you can use like a couple of the presets, and then they've got this long list of grooves that you can kind of just drag in, and then you can go into the drum roll, the piano roll, and you can tweak the way it works. I'll tell you what, I'm going to recommend you a channel to go watch. Watch a channel called Stevie McLaughlin. He's a guy I think he's from Northern Ireland, and he makes a lot of progressive metal kind of stuff. He's very into that kind of sound. So it's quite aligned with what I like. And he just goes through Reaper, and he'll show you the exact process of his process, beginning to end. He's got one video about the drums in particular, and he goes so much more in depth into the drums than I do. He separates everything out into separate tracks and then starts mixing each track. I don't do any of that. I kind of just slap stuff together, and that's something that apparently is a problem with the way that I do stuff, is I kind of slapdash things, and then I'm so quick to move on to the next thing and get one thing done that I don't give things the time and care that they deserve. So, but that's because I'm mainly doing demos for my album at the moment. But anyway, listen to some Stevie McLaughlin. It's a great channel to just sort of fall asleep to, or to just have on while you're in bed and like winding down. Very, very friendly person, very nice to follow. He's very easy to follow as well, and he gives you a real look into the creation of the full song. He does song by song, so he did like a 5-part series where it was like making an 80s style hard rock song, and it's all the little details, like him coming up with the ideas, thinking, oh, this could work, and then doing things that way. So he builds his songs out like that. I tend to jam my songs out and let the jam come together, and I record the whole song in one take. Either approach works, or you can go the complete other way and you can start sampling stuff, and you can do things that way if you want. It's a real playground for experimentation, especially if you're coming at this from a different background other than music. Or, maybe say you were classically trained in violin as a kid, or whatever, and you didn't really like doing that at the time, but you kind of remember little bits here and there, and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting back into it. Not as a serious thing, but I'll give it a go. You could get back into it, and you might come at it from a different angle, And I think it's interesting to see what people do when they leave their comfort zone. And like at some point, music wasn't my comfort zone, and I experimented, and I put my foot forward into it, and I created stuff that was very, very harsh and brittle. And looking back, my oldest stuff is better than the stuff I made after I started to learn a little bit, because I started to create more songs with grooves and stuff compared to what I was doing before, which was kind of these ambient soundscapes, which were quite good actually. If I look back at them, they're actually quite good. I didn't know what keys were. I didn't know what chords really were. I could barely play an A minor. I barely knew how to do music in general. I was basically just compiling sounds and just having fun with it. And as I did that more and more, I started to learn more and more. And that's what I think you should do. Just go out there and try stuff. And, if you're a musician, do the opposite. Go try making some films, because it'll be useful for you, for your music videos and stuff. And if you're in film, it'll be useful to learn music so you can make scores. That's originally why I got into music, was so that I could create scores for my films. Do stuff that puts you out of your comfort zone, and you'll find a new comfort zone for yourself. And, have fun with it, because that's what it's all about. So I think I'm going to finish the video here, and I'm going to wrap up by just saying I've got a album that I'm working on at the moment called Decisions in Another Language, which is all about something that happened last year, which I'll maybe get into at some point. But the album is all about that from a more, melancholic, artsy-fartsy sort of perspective. And I've got 7 songs and about 45 minutes of music. So as I said, I kind of like my prog rock, kind of krautrock stuff. So there's a lot of 7, 8, 9-minute songs in there. I would love to work with some musicians, maybe like over email or something. So if you are a musician, what I'll do is I'll upload the album to this channel in its current state, and you can have a look at it. And if you're interested in being on it, just let me know. Send an email to this email. I'm probably not going to put text. I'll probably forget, but it'll be in. I'll try and put it in the description or something like that. Yeah, I'd love to have people on it. I'd love to form a community around music as well, and make this a bit of a channel about music and film, because at the moment I've gone very deep into the film, which is one half of my my creativity, and music is my other half. Obviously, I like to write stories as well, so maybe I'll do something with that sometime. I used to be really big into writing books and stuff. I always used, when I was a kid and I was in school, I would always, during lunch hour, I would go to the library, and I would just sit in the library every single day, just typing like that all the time. And I'd be making up these stupid stories. There was one I had, there was this guy called Terry Terrible. He was basically Horrid Henry, but like Family Guy to Simpsons, Terry Terrible was Family Guy compared to Horrid Henry as The Simpsons. So it was basically just an edgy Horrid Henry, written by a 10-year-old. I managed to do 100 pages where there was this like Icelandic mafia who were kidnapping children to put them into this private school, which was kind of like a prison where they warped people's minds to do something. I can't remember what. It was fun, and that's what creativity is meant to be. It's an expression of the human mind, and it's fun. It's a hobby, and it's entertainment at the same time. It's not just entertaining to watch creativity be displayed to you. It's also fun to create, and I love doing that, and I'm going to do it hopefully until the day I die. So that's going to be good. Yep. All right. Goodbye. Nah, yeah. Video's not over yet. Not over yet, but maybe I should have moved it back here. Watch. Imagine I did that whole video and it should have been here instead, or it should have been like over here, or maybe over here, maybe over here, maybe over here, maybe over here, or maybe it shouldn't have had me in it at all. It should have just been like that. That was